You are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and
There is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
Cory Booker has just called out Kash Patel in a heated Senate showdown that quickly spirals into chaos and confrontation. What starts as oversight turns into a raw political clash, with accusations, interruptions, and tensions exploding in real time. The hearing exposes deep divisions, sharp allegations, and a power struggle that grips the entire room.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tears
my
this country
time
apart.
to address your falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take
it is
responsibility
my time.
for what you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee.
Let me tell you one thing. There is a pattern that keeps repeating, and once you notice it, it becomes difficult to ignore. Individuals step into powerful positions, they absorb criticism, they defend Donald Trump through every controversy, and they stand firm under pressure. For a period of time, they carry that weight. Then, when they are no longer useful, they are pushed aside.
To Stephen Miller.
frequently on our Homeland Security task forces.
You frequently talk with Stephen Miller about subjects other than Homeland Security task force issues, correct?
I frequently talk to Mr. Miller about Homeland Security task forces.
Has Stephen Miller ever given you his opinions on how to run your agency?
Mr. Miller's interagency operations are invaluable to the FBI. That's what we talk about.
So you frequently discuss your job and your responsibilities with Stephen Miller and Pam Bondi, I imagine, as well.
Absolutely. She's the Attorney General.
Understood. Okay.
The exchange began with what should have been a straightforward question. Booker asked whether there had been any discussions with the White House about removing FBI officials before Patel was confirmed.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were
And I'm
confirmed.
assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
It was a simple yes or no question, but it did not receive a direct answer. Instead, the response shifted toward general statements about hiring standards and expectations. The question itself remained unanswered, and that set the tone for everything that followed.
Gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical.
Booker then shifted the focus to a more serious issue. He raised the possibility that recent decisions within the FBI were not based on competence, but on loyalty. A lawsuit had already alleged that officials were removed for failing to demonstrate political loyalty. The individuals in question were not inexperienced agents. They were decorated veterans with decades of service.
Now, we know 20 years of distinguished service to the FBI before you terminated him. Special agent in charge of FBI's Newark field office, where he operated with distinction. Medal of Valor winner, Shield of Bravery awards. He's a patriot. You terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8th, 2025, and in that letter you said that you were firing him pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Well, you're not the President of the United States.
One had received a Medal of Valor, while another had led counterterrorism efforts that prevented a major attack. Despite this, they were removed under the claim that they failed to meet the standards of the FBI. Booker pressed the issue by asking a critical question. what standard was actually being applied.
Donald Trump promised to make us all safer. You have pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience. In fact, this is the first time in FBI history that neither the director nor the deputy director have any experience with the FBI. You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement.
The discussion then moved to a structural change that raised even greater concerns. According to the data presented, approximately 20% of FBI agents had been reassigned to assist with immigration enforcement. This was not a minor adjustment, but a significant shift in priorities.
Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is
Have
entirely
there been
false.
any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this
I am
leadership.
not saying
America
that.
is
You're
safer
making
because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seized
you have-
6,000 weapons and
you are not
23,000 violent
denying
felons have
that
been
FBI
arrested.
agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement.
Booker highlighted the implications of this move by asking what work was no longer being done. Investigations into crimes against children, human trafficking operations, and counterintelligence efforts all require experienced personnel. When he asked directly whether agents from these areas had been reassigned, he did not receive a clear denial. Instead, the response focused on dismissing the premise of the question.
I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel.
At that point, the tone of the hearing changed noticeably. Booker pushed back against interruptions and asserted that no one else had the authority to decide when his time was over.
Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what
you
my
tell-
time is.
Senator-
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
The exchange became increasingly tense, with both sides talking over each other. The chairman was forced to intervene in order to restore order, but the situation had already escalated beyond a standard oversight hearing.
You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it.
Booker then delivered his central argument. He stated that these actions had weakened the FBI as an institution by removing experienced personnel, dismantling specialized task forces, and reducing its overall capacity.
And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans.
He pointed out that rebuilding this capacity could take more than a decade. However, his most significant point was not about operational changes, but about a broader pattern.
He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country.
He argued that Patel was following a familiar path, defending the administration, absorbing criticism, and aligning himself closely with political leadership. According to Booker, this path does not end in stability, but in eventual dismissal.
If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? a double increase from that time last year? Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year?
Patel responded by rejecting these claims and focusing on measurable outcomes. He cited a significant increase in arrests, the seizure of thousands of weapons, and the recovery of thousands of children. These results were presented as evidence that the agency was functioning effectively under his leadership.
How is it possible that we are taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone, a failure of the FBI and my leadership? How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
However, this response did not directly address Booker's argument. The disagreement was not about whether results were being achieved in the short term. It was about the long-term impact of the decisions being made at the top of the organization. It is possible for both realities to exist at the same time. Agents in the field can continue to deliver strong results, while leadership decisions reshape the institution in ways that may have lasting consequences. The pattern that Booker described remained at the center of the discussion, raising a larger question about how leadership decisions today may shape outcomes in the future.